desperate, floundering, collapsing corporate news media has been trying to label all other news that they don't own or control and that's beating them in the free marketplace of ideas as fake news. They've hired Snopes, a man, a woman, and their cat, to be the great arbiter of Facebook to decide whether your website or article or video is blocked. They're openly funded by George Soros, and so is the other organization that is going to be deciding who can have news. It turns out it's a mail-order diploma site.
The Poynter Institute, the International Fact-Checking Network. Boy, that sounds very impressive, doesn't it? Where does that come from? Well, that's something they created at this place called the Poynter Institute. And this is an organization that has a faculty of 6. It's got one small building in St. Petersburg, Florida. And if you look at their website, what we do, they say we teach in seminar rooms in our main campus. You want to call that a campus? It's a single building in St. Petersburg. And we teach online, okay? And I don't even think it's an online degree mill because I don't know they offer any degrees. They just offer seminars. So how do these people get involved? Well, as Breitbart pointed out, it's because they're being financed by Soros.
So this is who Zuckerberg and others are reaching out to comply with the European Union's announcement last week that they must start censoring the alt-right. The alt-right, again, is a month-and-a-half-old definition that came out of Hillary Clinton's mouth at a press conference. So she comes out with a term that all of her opposition is the alternative right, not the establishment Republicans. Now, notice the trend here. They define reality. They say what things are. They say what's real. They give you your label. They give you your name. They say what the opposition is. They control the dictionary. They control the encyclopedia, but they don't. This is not North Korea. This is the land of the free, home of the brave. And that great awakening, that renaissance is coming back. Now, the desperate corporate media has 2 different lists they're passing around of fake news. They won't say where they came from. And they have a new graphic they're passing around that is hilarious. It shows the most state-run corporate media, NPR, BBC, you have to pay a tax in England to the BBC, a TV tax, the Washington Post, New York Times, and others as the most trusted and the most unbiased. We have WikiLeaks emails to these organizations, almost all of them, saying, do what you're told, giving them orders, them word for word taking scripts from the White House, George Soros, the big think tanks, and Hillary. But on this graph, they've got conservative down in one corner, and they call it total garbage. Infowars.com is even worse than Breitbart, the Daily Caller. And then, Glenn Beck is just partisan. And then as you go over, there's other, trusted stuff like The Economist in the middle and the rest of it. And a few things on the left like Natural News that isn't even liberal. I'd call it just kind of middle-of-the-road populist. I mean, it's a non-GMO site. So they put this out and say, this is gospel. This is who you can trust, okay? We won't tell you who made it. Just here it is. This is the way it is. Now, I spent 10 minutes with Buckley, one of our chief guys here, who's also a great graphics person. I said, in history, everything is tyranny versus liberty. That's the real political spectrum. And then you've also got independent versus state-run or corporate. State-run and corporate are kind of the kissing cousins, and then independent. So up here is independent on one end of the graphic. Down here is tyranny. So how independent is it, and how close to tyranny is it, versus how close to freedom is it? And historically, we know more diversity, more independent, smaller operations tend to be more accurate. That's undisputed. They've got big university studies that the U.S. is now starting to rate at the bottom of industrialized countries for freedom. So I point out that a lot of these organizations and groups, like the New York Times and others, are pushing for tyranny. I mean, they're pushing for all sorts of control, and they're pushing for an end to the First Amendment. So I put them in that area, and I put InfoWars reversed, where they said that we're totally independent. We're absolutely promoting freedom. Now, our graph isn't perfect. We spent 5-10 minutes coming up with the concept, a few hours putting it together, and we left a lot of groups off. And, there's a few things here. Was you kind of reverse their chart. I mean, I think WorldNet Daily isn't kind of off to one side as being independent and freedom-based. I think it's right up there at the top with us. And there's some groups over here that they've got in the middle, saying kind of somewhat independent, like Reuters, when they clearly aren't. So I admitted our chart wasn't perfect. It was far from it. I said people ought to make their own charts, because isn't it objective how we define things or how we see things through life experiences? I never said our chart was the end-all be-all. I never said what the alt-right was. I never set the definitions. I just said, here's our chart that I think is a lot more accurate than theirs, saying they're totally unpartisan and unbiased at the New York Times and the Washington Post, caught in emails trying to deceive the public. I mean, this is crazy. But they make lots of jokes, outlandish InfoWars chart, attempts to classify media outlets by how tyrannical or independent they are. Well, can't we say that North Korea's information ministry is totally state-run and totally tyrannical? We should create a global chart. I mean, wouldn't it fit right there where state-run and tyranny come together, intersect? No, the truth is, the founding fathers, if they saw this chart, would say mine was a better representation of reality than this one that is true alternate reality fantasy land. So what I want to ask the listeners and viewers to do is create your own charts and send them to showtips@infowars.com. You can put your website on it or whatever you want, I don't care. And then we'll show these on air, we'll post these, we'll give them attention, and we'll see what people think. In fact, if you think I'm the worst thing in the world, show me how on the chart. If you think I'm the best thing in the world, show us. And that goes for the London Guardian or the Associated Press or CNN, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show them all on air as long as there's no profanity or libel or whatever. I want to see these come in. Showtips@infowars.com. You can also hit some of our other emails. The point is, post them on your own Facebook, your own Twitter, because if it made them so mad that we made our own chart, you should all make your own charts too, because you're just as important as they are. Your view, your opinion, your research is just as pertinent as MSM. In fact, I'd say a lot more, because they're the ones that have been discredited, that said Trump was going to lose, that gave us all the fake polls, that got caught rigging things. What a joke. They just sit up there and always ridicule like they're in junior high trying to shut us up when InfoWars is bigger than any of their 10 organizations put together. They're dying. They're falling apart. That's why they want to censor us. I mean, who thought you'd ever see Facebook openly saying, let's end free speech with Chinese-style net censorship? The answer to that is for everyone to become their own press and speak out more than ever. Because it's time for the people that aren't arrogant, who do love liberty, who've been just the silent majority, to stand up and put the final nails in the coffin of the mainstream media by simply creating our own research, our own art, our own literature, our own culture. I'm Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com. If you're watching this transmission or hearing it, you are the resistance, you are the future, you are humanity. Infowars has more than 15 YouTube channels and about 3 million subscribers. Our main channel has 1.854 or 1,854,000 plus subscribers. Now, they've been gaming the system for a long time to shut down nationalistic or patriotic media, saying we're right-wingers, saying we're extremists. Well, it doesn't matter who we are. We have a right to free speech, don't we? As long as we don't violate the rules. Well, now Zuckerberg has come out and said he's going to restrict conservative news like communist China does, calling it fake news. And Google, that owns YouTube, has announced, and they've done it now 2 weeks ago, that they're going to basically make you click the bell in your notifications. We're going to show you how to do that, or you won't get all the channels that you've subscribed to, and you won't get the videos. Now, why are they doing this? It's more than just censoring. They want you to see the videos that they feed you below and beside the videos you're looking at that are corporately sponsored so they make more money. They're taking the you out of YouTube. So we're in this information war, and it's more important than ever that you promote the videos, that you like the videos, and that you send them on to others. Because the answer to the attempt to shut us down and restrict free speech that's openly now happening is for us to redouble our efforts. We're winning the culture war as true classical liberals that made this country great. We're restoring the Renaissance. So again, if you want to get our videos, so you can make your decision whether you want to see them or not. After all, that's why you subscribed. YouTube's had this since they started 12 years ago or whatever it was. And they're fundamentally changing it so you don't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is promoting fake news and trash news and establishment news. It's killing real independent news. But we the people, by taking action, can break the back of this system. So please, click on the bell so you get the notifications and so you get in your feed the videos and channels you've subscribed to. I'm Alex Jones for Infowars.com.